Now it's time for On Point, where we speak to experts to delve deeper into the biggest news stories in the spotlight right now. Next week, South Korea will host the Medical Korea Conference 2022, both in person and virtually, from the COEX Convention Center in southern Seoul, not too far away from us here at Arirang TV, into its 12th edition. It is Korea's largest global healthcare conference and brings together experts, speakers as well. They take deep looks at and share the latest trends in everything to do with healthcare and medicine. It is hosted by South Korea's Ministry of Health and Welfare. It is organized by the Korea Health Industry Development Institute, and the channel you are watching now, Arirang TV, is the global media partner.
The in-person event lasts 2 days from the 10th to 11th of March, while the virtual event runs from the 10th of March to the 15th. And to get a sneak preview of this, we have in the studio today Dr. Kwon Sun-man, President of the Korea Health Industry Development Institute, joining us in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, firstly, could you tell us what the event covers and why Korea has been so eager to host an event like this every year? For the last decade or so?
Yeah, this event already becomes a globally recognized venue for exchange ideas and examining the recent trends in healthcare industry and the shared ideas for the visions for the future. For example, this year, this venue, this conference examines all key issues such as digital transformation, smart health, smart care systems, and this is a venue for gathering all important players in this field together, such as business experts and government officers and even general public investors. So this is a key avenue for all these sharing ideas and actual meeting for business interest and contracts.
Now this comes amid the pandemic. We hope it's the tail end of the COVID-19 pandemic, of course. You're holding this healthcare conference in the middle of it. What kind of precautions are you putting in place, and how have the conferences been different from those you held pre-COVID-19?
You're right. Before this COVID-19 crisis, it was 100% face-to-face meetings. However, since this outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, we changed the modality. It's the combination of various modalities of meetings, like purely face-to-face meetings and purely virtual meetings, and some meetings are kind of combinations of face-to-face and virtuals. And we work very closely with Arirang TV, and some of the keynote speeches are pre-recorded. And it is disseminated all over the world. So in a sense, it gave us an opportunity to more effectively using this opportunity to maximize the impact of this conference, relying various types of modalities of communications, in a sense.
And while the last 2 years of the pandemic certainly has been a time of turning crisis into opportunity, it's been a challenging time, but at the same time we saw quite a number of innovations, Professor. And well, how do you expect the global medical industry to develop after the crisis is over?
You're right. This crisis, this pandemic crisis, is definitely a huge blow to the whole society, but at the same time, it gives us a good opportunity for innovations and some of those leading industries. More importantly, this pandemic crisis helped us to be fully aware of the importance of health system on our society. And that means that investment in healthcare system or health of the population is also an investment in economy, because as you know, when the pandemic is at the peak, many manufacturing plants are shut down, and it's a real suffering for self-employed and small business. So like Korea, if you have a good response to this COVID-19, it can be a good positive impact and smaller negative impact on the economy. And in terms of health industry, it was a good opportunity to achieve a record high increase in export in the biopharma healthcare industry, like medicines and diagnostics. So it will be a good impetus to continue this trend for the Korean healthcare industry. And other types of innovations include like telemedicines, because for a long time, Korea did not allow a virtual telemedicine consultations, but during this pandemic crisis, we temporarily allow a virtual consultations, phone-based consultations between consumers and doctors. And I hope that this kind of a innovation will continue and become a very important element for the digital transformation in healthcare in Korea.
Yeah, it's certainly the remote connection between doctor and patient is something other countries have already established over recent years, so it's good to see Korea catching up in that regard. The Moon Jae-in administration has been pressing very hard ever since the COVID-19 pandemic to ensure that South Korea can become a global leader in terms of medical equipment, vaccines, treatments and whatnot. Do you think the country is in a good position now to take advantage of that and truly become a global leader in those things? And if you do think that way, why do you think that way?
Well, let me give an example. Recently, World Health Organization designated Korea as a so-called WHO global hub for medicines and pharma personnel training, capacity buildings. And first of all, it is very important that this pandemic will be over, pandemic crisis is over, only when all the people around the globe is well prepared. And that means that no one is safe until everybody is safe. So that means improving the access to vaccines is important not only for the high-income countries, but also all low and middle-income countries. So in that sense, this new WHO center will play a pivotal role in improving access to medicines for the globe. And the Korean government is really ready to strengthen this center. Several reasons. Korea already has a good infrastructure, especially biopharma industry in Korea is one of the leaders in the globe. So Korea biopharma industry has a good capacity in that area. And also, as you know, Korea has a good, very strong human resources in every part, but health is never an exception. So we have a very high caliber personnel in medicines and biopharma, and we already has a good experience of trainings centers in Osong, in Songdo, in other part of the country. So we had a good infrastructure in terms of training personnel, and government has a very clear and strong commitment to support this center and to make Korea as a leaders, not only in a good healthcare system of Korea, but improving the capacity of healthcare system around the world and improving the preparedness for pandemics in many low and middle income countries. It benefits not only Korea, but really a global effort to combat this pandemic crisis.
Professor Kwon Sun-man, President of Korea Health Industry Development Institute, thank you very much for joining us in studio today.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.